Hello, my name is Nathan Henry Rose, and today I'll be presenting for you Disney and Marvel Assemble. Fresh from the negotiation tables with DreamWorks Studios, the Walt Disney Company further developed its business by pursuing its interest in purchasing Marvel Worldwide late February 2009. Disney, the multidimensional media powerhouse who for nearly a century has produced some of our fondest television, movie, and amusement park memories, has developed a rich market in the licensing and sales of retail products to go along with its creations. Marvel has been fueling the imaginations of readers for more than 70 years through its comic book business that has also developed and spawned cartoons, television shows, and a world of collectible toys, graphic novels, and miscellaneous licensed apparel. Negotiation talks sparked after Disney CEO Bob Iger casually mentioned to Marvel Executive Vice President David Mezels his interest in adding Marvel to the Disney family. The two entertainment giants began looking to develop a win-win agreement in June, a particularly slow period for mergers and acquisitions by market standards. Nonetheless, those first couple of talks became weeks that turned into several months of negotiation, culminating with deals announced on August 31st. The deal gave Disney Marvel's library of 5,000 characters, in addition to licensing rights, comic book, and movie business in exchange for a hefty $4.3 billion to the Marvel stakeholders. Negotiations picked up in June, shortly after Mezzo spread word of Iger's interest to Marvel CEO Isaac Perlmutter. It was around this time Perlmutter sought financial advisement from Bank of America on how to proceed. About a week later, Mezzo had his first official meeting with Disney executives, Iger, Chief Financial Executive Officer Thomas Staggs, and Kevin Mayers, Executive Vice President of Corporate Strategy, Business Development, and Technology, to talk terms. Marvel opened negotiations by requesting $50 a share, primarily or entirely funded in Disney stock. This offer was met with all but rejection by Disney's CFO, Staggs. However, discussions continued. Staggs' only reply to Mezzo's demands was that Disney was unlikely to accept that price or even a deal based primarily on stock. Later in June, Perlmutter and Iger, the company chief executives, held two closed meetings. These meetings were held, it's presumed, so that Iger and Perlmutter could share their excitement about the deal and also gather each other's personal interest in acquiring Marvel for Disney's possession. Continued his persuasive assault on Mayer, citing his justification for a per-share value starting with the number 5 as the recent establishment of Marvel Studios, its film division. The division drew in an incredible number since 2008's release of Iron Man's film, initiating Phase 1 of The Avengers, which later became a Disney product. July 10th, Disney made its first offer as Staggs proposed $46 to $48 per share to be determined, mixed of stock and cash later on. July 28th, Marvel's board refused the offer. In addition, the board appointed a fellow members Sid Ganis, Morton Hannell, and James Haplin to lead further negotiations on the Marvel end against Disney. An era of change came on August 3rd when Staggs offered an update on the offer that was right in line with Marvel's earlier request of $50 a share. Bank of America Managing Director Jeffrey Kaplan made one final attempt at a $51 or $52 per share without success before settling on this figure. Following the close of financial negotiations, the remainder of the month of August was spent sorting through the rights issues, securing deal protection measures, and settling the Marvel Universe into a Disney world. Determining how much any one Marvel character is worth to Disney proved tricky, especially after Marvel executives solidified the company's value as well as their enthusiasm for the brand they helped to create. Positions. Disney intended to exploit the Marvel characters to generate new revenues in Marvel markets. The drawback, they were not willing to pay stakeholders more than $48 a share for an investment that was then valued at $23.43 a share. Marvel wanted $50 a share or better in Disney stock for their shares in the acquisition, but they also wanted to grow the Marvel brand, keep the core team on board, and leave the legend intact. Interests. Disney interests rested in gaining the Marvel character properties. It is estimated that the Marvel Universe contains 8,000 characters, and with the power in licensing that the house that Walt built holds, they look to adding a wing of endless possibilities. The potential ventures that immediately sparked the public's interest and drove Disney stock value up spiked that following spring when Disney stock closed the last day of April at $36.84 a share. Disney buyout, meanwhile, gives Marvel much more financial muscle to make films at a time when credit is still tight. Bank of America, on top of this, received a fee of $20 million, while Perlmutter stayed on Disney's Marvel as chief executive and received a $1.4 billion payout of the deal. Mutual benefit. Both brands have given themselves the opportunity to grow and create an even larger legacy for each namesake. The entertainment outlets provided for Marvel to now share the brand will allow Disney to share the brands like Avengers, Spider-Man, and the X-Men with the new generation, while Disney gains a team of new artists, writers, editors, and content to further integrate into their studios. Best alternative to negotiation. Marvel could have walked away from the deal provided they were not satisfied with Disney's offerings. Some feel they underappraised themselves and that CEO Isaac Perlmutter was running the company fairly well on a minimalist approach to cut costs. Disney had nothing to lose on the deal as well. Bob Iger was on a hot streak that didn't end with the acquisition of Marvel, but very well could have kept on trucking past it as they went on to also purchase Lucasfilms and all of its fixings in 2012. Autonomy. Disney key players Bob Iger, Chief Executive Officer, Thomas Staggs, who was the Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Executive Officer, and Kevin Mayer, Executive Vice President of Corporate Strategy, Business Development, and Technology, all had little to do with the negotiations involved of their acquisition of Marvel. Most of the autonomy was led up to Thomas Staggs. He held most of this power as he commanded both the figures based on the board's demands and determined the terms to make an agreement with his personal interest and experience in financial negotiation. Not very much autonomy was able to be granted due to the delicacy and careful appraisal and reappraisal of Marvel's holdings. Much of it for this reason on their end was delegated in order to separate the problem, i.e. the money, the rights, and the human resources, from the major problem of negotiation. In order to manage their respective teams, Marvel had leadership set up as follows. Isaac Perlmutter was actually at the top. He did very little but order David Maisel out to negotiate and talk on their behalf. Jeffrey Kaplan, Marvel's Bank of America managing director, received and authorized figures that went back and forth between Disney and Marvel. Carl Sanchez, Marvel's lead objective attorney, handled a team of attorneys that went over the rights for each individual character into the later weeks of August. As stated, autonomy was less of an option for Marvel, whose team was nearly 3 times the size of Disney's. But each member held a key perspective to the negotiation points that were at the root of Marvel's request. Marvel was successful in their negotiations because they have a very powerful brand. The executives immediately assembled a crack legal and financial team to support Maisel's urges that the Marvel Universe and its characters were a company legacy well worth the investment. The board's decision to fulfill outstanding commitments to business partners the likes of Sony, Universal, and less lately Paramount was an ethical and responsible move as well before the comic giant came home to Disney. Marvel's negotiation team included a knowledgeable crew that provided their commitment and excitement about the house that Stan Lee built and supported it to the end. The ugly. What went wrong? Both sides rejected each other's initial offer, only to meet at a split decision that was mutually beneficial. The parties did not take enough time to prepare for the negotiation, especially Marvel, who assembled and rearranged their team during negotiation, sort of like the Avengers flick that aired last summer. A missing Marvel executive signature demanded a 2 a.m. wake-up call to complete the deal in the last moments of negotiation. The agreement. The final agreement paid Marvel stakeholders a total of $4.3 billion due to the growth around the close of the deal. Disney paid about $50 per share in mixed sums of cash and stock that specifically worked out to $30 cash plus 74% of the value of one share of Disney stock. Relationship building. The relationship will foster a wealth of business and streams of revenue for both parties. Marvel will profit from backing of Walt Disney Pictures for future television, movie, and cartoons, while Disney will strengthen their return through merchandise and licensing. Marvel has begun development of science fiction adventure television series Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., set to debut this fall on Disney, loosely based on the S.H.I.E.L.D. agency seen in the Avengers movie. Disney has also recently premiered a new cartoon, Avengers Assemble, on its Disney XD network, hoping to capitalize as well on the success of the 2012